Hey YouTube, Scoutmaster here. It is day number 19. Day number 19 on the trail, and today is a 0 day for us. So just to give you an update, what happened, we got out of the Smokies yesterday, and it took about 2 hours to make contact with my mother-in-law who was picking us up. We were on the side of I-40 right under the underpass waiting on her because due to all the detours with the construction, they basically took her all the way out into the country and all the way around to come get us. So there was about a 2 hour delay. So she finally got us almost 2:30 or so, something like that. So we went into Newport, had a good night there, uploaded videos, showered, did all our stuff, resupply. And our plan was to start at Green Corner Road, which is right down from Standing Bear after the Smokies this morning. And looking at the weather and everything, it was raining a little bit in the morning, not a big deal. It was going to rain later in the afternoon, but then the temperature was going to continue to drop. And it was going to be about 26 degrees, and then 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts and 1 to 3 inches of snow tonight. So what we decided to do, so we had that, and then we had to get to, we were going to do 16 miles today and 18 tomorrow. To get to Hot Springs. We had a friend who was actually loaning us his house to use in Hot Springs. So what we decided to do, due to the weather, we're actually skipping that section from essentially Standing Bear to Hot Springs. So what we did was we drove to Hot Springs today, and we're actually at my friend's house now. So we took the 0 at his house, and then we're going to start tomorrow from Hot Springs, go north. So that 34-ish mile section of trail from essentially I-40 to Hot Springs, we're skipping. And at the end of the hike, because we are on a time constraint, Chill Guy has a summer job he has to start, and I've got to be back by July 3rd, the latest. So we're kind of on a time schedule. So we figured if there were going to be parts of the trail that we had to miss, might as well miss parts that are down south so that we can make those up if we choose after the hike, sometime in the late summer, fall, something like that. Plus, at this time of year with the weather and everything, I'd rather skip sections where there's bad weather, cold weather. I on my last through hike, I had plenty of snow. I know what that's like. I really don't prefer to do that again. That's why I started a little bit later this time. And if I'm going to miss parts of the trail, I'd rather miss the southern parts because they are closer to get to. I don't want to miss Maine or New Hampshire, those parts. Coming up, we're going to be hitting the damaged area from Hurricane Helene, and there are some parts of the trail. I think all parts are hikeable, but there are some parts that the ATC or the National Park Service doesn't want you to hike. They prefer you don't. We'll make that decision at that time, whether or not we decide to skip those few little sections. I'm just being upfront and honest that, we're not going to touch every single blaze. The plan was to do this 4 to essentially 100, and we got 120 to 124 days. So if we're going to skip stuff, I'm going to do it down south so that if we want to make it up, we can. If not, that's fine. Hike your own hike. That's what we're doing. I just want to be transparent about that. So we've essentially yellow blazed 34 miles, I guess. And, any other cuts that we make, we'll let you know about them. But that's, I don't want to necessarily hike in areas if they really don't want us to. Because it does put other people at risk, first responders, if something happens. And after the Smokies, the condition of the Smokies, which nobody really talked about until we were in the Smokies, those blowdowns the last few days have been there for a while, and no one has cleaned those up. And we had to go into the gear store today in Hot Springs and get some things because we've got some things that got tore up in the blowdowns. We're missing one Dyneema tarp that got taken from the blowdowns. We have some clothes that were ripped. My backpack got a tear in the stretchy pocket That's just things that happen. But we wanted to get those things repaired or fixed up best we could. So that's what we did. We just used this, you know, this opportunity to take a first zero, and we're just going to start from Hot Springs tomorrow and go forward. I do have a few scenes from when we did stop in Hot Springs earlier today. We had lunch at the Smoky Mountain Diner, and we went by the visitor center and also the outfitter and purchased some things. So the plan tomorrow, leave from Hot Springs and head probably 15 or so miles north and go from there, and just see how the next 100 to 200 miles work out with the damage area, see how much of that we do, because we do want to be in Virginia probably the end of this month or the very beginning of April. And then I think as soon as we get to Virginia, there shouldn't be any hiccups. But I planned, when we planned this hike and the hurricane hit, I was fully willing to just skip the whole 300-mile section if need be. But we're going to do as much as we can and go from there. Just want to let everybody know that was our plan. And I just wanted to make sure you had another daily video coming out. So we'll get this uploaded, and at the end you'll see some scenes from earlier today in Hot Springs.